Okay, so welcome to part 5. In this tutorial, we'll be looking at making the UI for our newly created add-on. And what we will be doing is starting with a template and bringing our operators into and our classes that we coded in the last episode into this template, and then adding a UI layout here that you can see. So we'll basically be doing this part of the code from here down in this episode. Last time I told you that I'd look at debugging because I might have missed something in the tutorial, and I did in fact. Under update, or not that one, but underneath our operator, under update, I was calling the remove function instead of update. So we want to make sure we have that changed just so we're not removing it when we're supposed to be updating. So to start off here, what we'll be doing is starting with a template. So I just want you guys to create a new text document, and under Python templates, we're going to click add-on, add object. And we don't really need anything here. You can get rid of the stuff from import BPY down. And my mouse doesn't seem to want to select. All the way down, even we can get this because this was in our simple operator that we made last time. So now we'll need to get the code that we used, or that we coded in the last episode, and copy that over to the add-on template here. Alright, so now we just brought in our code from last time, and we can get rid of the two import BPYs. And so now we have everything updated in here. If we would run it, it wouldn't show anything. So that's why we need to create the UI now. So underneath this update class, I just want to create a new class, but there is a quick way of doing this. As you can guess, there's probably a template for it. And there is. I'm just going to open that up here. And it's UI panel right here. So what we can do is just click on it, and you'll see it brings in all this code. Right now we don't need anything underneath draw, so we can do that. You might want to leave layout here, since we'll be using that variable a little, so instead of having to retype it, it's okay if you guys want to get rid of that. And I don't really know why I refer to the listening audience as you guys, because there's probably only one person listening to this, which is Mr. Basso, but whatever. We're going to take this class over to our add-on template that we've created. So let's just go up here, add-on, add object, and underneath update, we'll just paste this in here. And the last thing we need to do before we start coding the UI is registering the class, because how Blender works is it wants to class like a UI as well as all the other operators that might be in it. So you need to register it like any other class in Blender. So layout demo panel, and we'll just copy that down to unregister UN. There we go. So this part of the code right here, this is telling Blender where to put the UI. So if we were to run this right now, it would put it somewhere in the object properties in this window over here, but we want it to be in the 3D view. So we're going to make a few adjustments. First of all, we're going to change our title header to be quick focus, since that's relevant to what kind of add-on we've created. Scene underscore PT underscore layout, you don't really want to mess with that. If PT can be a little finicky, I just recommend leaving that the same so it knows to refer back to this class. Space type, instead of in the properties window, we want it in the 3D view, so we want to type view in all caps and 3D. And our region type is going to be the UI, since this is the name of the menu that's over in here. And we need to change one more thing, change context to category. And we're going to say tool with capital T. And that's just going to tell it to be underneath this tool menu that you can see right here. And then underneath draw, this is where we are actually going to code our layout. So right now we have a variable layout equals self.layout, and this is really useful because when we want to add a space, our command for space is going to be row equals layout dot row, and calling on that. So this is basically just going to add a space to the UI, and you'll see that in a sec when we've added an operator. So first off, we want to also add a like a header to underneath the drop-down menu with a little icon. And the way we want to do this is say row.label, then call on that with the brackets, and we're going to write text equals, and then a string focus, comma, icon equals, and then this is also as a string, all caps, camera underscore data. And what I've just done there is assigning an icon to be on the row. Now, you have to enable an add-on for this, but it's under preferences. Just type in icon, and it's a developer tool, so you'll notice on our right, if I bring this menu out, you'll see all these icons that Blender normally has, and camera data is one of the ones in here. I don't know exactly where it is. Probably around here somewhere. I think it might be this one. But that's the data path for it, so just click on that and you'll get the data path. So that's the icon that we want to put on that row, and we're good there. So we're just going to write row equals layout dot row, adding another space. And then we want to put an operator in here, our add object operator. So to add an operator, a button essentially, we're going to write row dot operator and a brackets where we want the ID name of whatever operator we want. So in this case, if it's add, we're going to see this ID name and copy this down to our operator. So now you see things coming together where we have, we're linking the button that we're making up to the class that we've made, which links it then to the function that we're calling, which has our code. So now you can see everything coming together, which for me is the best and most satisfying part. Okay, so let's just run what we have here right out of the gate, just to see what we've made, and hoping there's no errors. But if there are, we can go in and fix it, but no errors. So see, a UI, a little drop-down menu has been created underneath in the 3D view, this tool header, which is what we've told Blender to do, and it's done it. Amazing. We have a little row here header with the camera icon that we made, and a button that we just made with this row.operator command. So if we were just to click this button, you'll see that it runs the add depth of field function, which is fun to see. We have no way of removing that, so let's do that. Let's add a space. Whoops, row. And then we'll need another operator, so let's just copy that down. Lots of copying and pasting and coding, which saves time. Remove focused, so if we were to run this, now we have the remove focal point. And the way we're getting these labels, by the way, is underneath our class. In the previous tutorial, I mentioned how the label would act as what's on the button, and that's exactly what it's doing here. See, add focal point is what it's saying up here. So if you want to change what's on your button, go ahead and edit that. And we'll do this one more time. Row equals layout dot row, and I spelled something wrong, missed the equal sign. And we'll put one more operator down in here, and you can guess that it's going to be the update focus. And there we go. Everything works properly. So we can remove, we can add, we can update, and if we go into our rendered view, you'll see that everything is working properly when it loads. Yes, there we go. And We have no way of changing the blur right now, so our next thing is going to be add a property. That's a row property that we're going to use to control how much blur we want in the scene. But everything's working properly, so let's go ahead and add that. Right, row equals layout.row, and we are going to write layout dot prop. That's short form for property, and then we're going to type in that context dot object and dot data dot depth of field. So basically this is just going into the camera when it's selected and finding the property that we're about to assign to it. And this is where we're going to link the aperture property to this layout property. So we're going to write aperture underscore f-stop. Finish that off. We want that as a string, by the way, so Blender can recognize it and search for it. And then text equals blur amount. And so this is just what's going to be on our slider that we've just created, the label of it. Now if we run it right now, I am 99% sure that's going to run an error, but it doesn't. So last time I did it ran an error, but now we see if we have the camera selected, like this, we see a blur amount now. And this won't work when any other object is selected because we're wanting it to link to the camera, which has data.depth of field, which no other object has. So if we go in our rendered view to see the blur amount, if we add the focus, you can see that by dragging the slider, we now have different types, different amounts of blur. We can have really shallow depth of field, or really everything in focus, basically. And that's just another quick and easy way to move that around. So that's not really all there is to it. There's ways to make the button bigger or smaller, but you'll need another tutorial for that because I'm not covering that. This tutorial is already about 12 minutes long as it is. So in the next one, we'll finalize how the add-on is packaged and exported, and how to import it into Blender so everything runs properly. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.